United States. And here's the thing. Here's the point I want to make tonight, friends, that I'm deadly serious. Everything that goes into this newspaper and into remnantnewspaper.com and into this show, this down here in the underground, it's all produced by real people. And it sounds crazy, of course it is. Well, not of course it is anymore. You can't be sure of that anymore. This is produced by people living in the real world, writers who take pride in their craft, living all over the world, right? Submitting original material to me every few days for us to publish and post, right? And this is becoming very, very important for us to think about because we're in the middle of a really, really weird revolution in which Pilate's question, what is truth, becomes our question today. And all the writers, all the people, the whole team, remnant team, they're trying to help this remnant of Christian believers throughout the world. They're trying to help us all stay Christian, stay sane, and incredibly, to stay human. Like I always say, first they made war on God, and then they made war on the angels, which nobody believes in anymore at all. Nobody even talks about the angels. And now they've worked their way down to humanity, war on humanity. Human beings are starting to disappear. Humanity beginning to disappear in our world when we start living in this virtual reality, right? And this reminds me now, I want to make a promise tonight. That's why I say a little shop talk. I want to make a promise to this audience, and I'm deadly serious about this AI thing, which I call anti-human intelligence, by the way. And here's the promise. Here in the Remnant Underground, over at the newspaper, Remnant Newspaper, at our website, remnantnewspaper.com, I promise you I will never surrender to this AI beast. I will not. So everything you see, and this is going to become important. If you don't realize what this promise means, you will in the days ahead when you get fooled again and again by what purports to be real and turns out to be absolutely not real, not true. We need to put our heads together here. Everything you see, everything you hear on this show, in this newspaper, will always be the work of human hands, written, spoken, and thought out by human minds, human beings, our team. I promise you this. I will never run anything through ChatGPT, which means that the thoughts expressed down here on this show are mine. They're not plagiarized, okay? And this is an important promise. As I say, moving forward, I think you're going to come to appreciate that because it's going to get a little bit hard to find. The temptation is, if I can't think of anything to say today, well, I'll just type a few things into ChatGPT and give that to people and even charge people for that. We've had a couple of columnists, writers have come to us and say, I use ChatGPT for this column. Would you be interested in publishing it in the Remnant? I say, absolutely not. Sell it somewhere else. Want nothing to do with it. So if you're with me on this, if you want to continue to know what is true, to be sure what is true, at least as far as we see it, then sign up. Subscribe to this newspaper, especially sign up for my e-blast. I'll put the little link right down here. And let's keep it real. We just revamped that whole email system, which means we're going to use it a lot more. We're going to reach a lot more of you. We're going to have direct and personal communication with you through these various organs, the newspaper, the e-blast, and of course right here in the underground. Let's just keep it human, friends. I'm dead serious. I can't believe that we even have to talk about this, but we do. Again, Pilate asked Jesus, what is true? Well, do you know what it is anymore? I mean, pretty soon we're all going to be asking ourselves the same thing. Is that true? Well, I just went out to Platteville the other day at a conference in Wisconsin. And I can't tell you how nice it was to look into people's eyes, to talk with them, to laugh with them, to be human together for a conference. You know what I mean? Like the internet is getting to be a very strange place. And maybe it will begin consuming itself and forcing us to meet more often, like we're going to do in the Chart pilgrimage here in France in a couple months. Meet more often, really, and in the real world, you know? Because, as I said, we're going to be asking ourselves the same thing. What's true? Do we know what it is? And if we know what truth is, do we know how to find it? In the years to come, will we know how to find it? Here's an interesting clip.
Владимир Владимирович, здравствуйте. Я студент и учусь в Санкт-Петербургском государственном университете. Хочу...
Now that's Vladimir Putin, right? Wrong. No, it's not Putin.
Владимир Владимирович, здравствуйте. Я студент и учусь в Санкт-Петербургском государственном университете. Хочу спросить, правда ли, что у вас много двойников?
You could do that with anybody. And in a world that has completely lost its moral compass, as ours has, in a world that has abandoned the Christian ethic, Christian morality to the extent that ours has, how do you think this is going to end? What's this going to look like in a few years? Deception on steroids doesn't even begin to do it justice. You're not going to know. You're not going to know. At the same time, you got guys like Musk coming out there and saying the AI future, the robot future is what we're going to have. Humanity is literally going to disappear. Remember during COVID, masking us up, separate us, lock us in our houses, what were they doing? They were making war on our humanity. And they're doing the same right now. This technocracy is going to be fundamentally anti-human. People say, well, I'm going to use it to evangelize. Are you? Really? You're going to use lying and deception to evangelize? I wonder. Again, remember, never forget how they used the science to deceive us during COVID. Do you think this is going to be any different? Do you think they're suddenly going to develop a conscience and not use this in nefarious ways? Do you honestly think that's going to happen? And this is the potential for the Christophobia. I mean, Jesus Christ is the one who said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, right? And if we don't watch out, friends, we are soon going to have a new God, one of our own creation, with superhuman intelligence.
There's a spiritual component here for sure. People will worship AI as a god. AI, Ted Kaczynski was likely right, will get away from us. We will be controlled by the thing that we made. All those are bad. And we need to say unequivocally, it's bad. It's bad to be controlled by machines.
Right.
Machines are helpmates. Like we created them to help us, to make our lives better, not to take orders from them. So I don't know why we're not having any of these conversations right now. We're just acting as if this is like some kind of virus like COVID that just spreads across the world inexorably. There's nothing we can do about it. Just wait to get it. It's like, no. If we agree that the outcome is bad, and specifically it's bad for people, we should care what's good for people. That's all we should care about. Is it good for people or not? If it's bad for people, then we should strangle it in its crib right now.
Right.
And why just blow up the data centers? Like, why is that hard? If it's actually going to become what you just described, which is a threat to people, humanity, life, then we have a moral obligation to murder it immediately. And since it's not alive, we don't need to feel bad about that.
I'm sorry. I'm just not going to bow down to that new God, Elon Musk. No, thank you. I won't even use it. And I certainly will not let myself be seduced by it because it is going to have a seductive quality such as the world has never seen. People say, well, it's impossible, man. You got to get with the times. You can't be a Luddite. This is the future, okay? It's impossible to stay away from it. And I say, really? That's what they said 20 years ago when the internet began gobbling up every Catholic newspaper in the world. Most of them are now gone, right? They said that to me. You can't say no. You got to go along with it, man. And I said, really? No, I don't think so. And I don't care who calls me the man from La Mancha for tilting at these windmills, but I stayed with the newsprint, and it's still going. The newspaper is still going. It's right here in my hand. You hear that? You smell that? Newsprint. Fake news, fake and gay news is much harder to produce when you have something real in your hands like this. It can't be manipulated. So the remnant, so far, friends, thanks be to God, because of a commitment to tap the brakes on this stuff, the remnant is still sane. It's still human. And really, if you think about it, I'm quite proud of this, and I think it's something everybody can do. Because of that commitment to be careful, we haven't fallen for one of their fake news stories ever since. We didn't fall for COVID. We didn't fall for Ukraine. We didn't fall for Gaza. We didn't fall for the Great Reset. And we're certainly not going to fall now for AI. We've got to keep our thoughts our own. We've got to turn off the TVs, turn off our little robot buddies, turn off the artificial intelligence, and immunize ourselves against the plague of deception and its propagandistic war on the truth. Truth in general and truth with a capital T. Let's give an example of how deception and how the narrative trumps the truth. People don't talk about it. This stuff happens. It turns out to be absolutely fake news. And it just goes into the memory hole. So do you remember when Pope Francis, for example, went up to Canada? He dressed up like Cochise and apologized for the Catholic Church's alleged slaughter of the indigenous children in residential schools. Do you remember that? Well, now everybody's up there in Canada.